everyone. I'm Dr. Kim Nichols, board certified dermatologist and owner of Nichols MD of Greenwich, Skin Lab in Harbor Point, Stanford, and you're the first to know a new location coming in spring 2022 in Fairfield, Connecticut. So happy you guys are joining us today. This is going to be episode 5 of the Nichols MD Hustle and Glow Institute. For all of you who are joining us again, who are new to it, I really have enjoyed these episodes and will continue to do more. As you know, I started Hustle and Glow with the intention of educating people in the beauty business like yourselves about how to maintain and grow loyal clientele. And I curated this with the thought that we want this all to be profitable and with passion. So today we're gonna have episode 5. I hope you've enjoyed our previous episodes. So the first episodes that we've done have, one of them has been, I hope you enjoyed the last one we did, and that one was about integrating retail, how that will increase your passive income, profitability of course, and most importantly, get optimal results for your treatment. So you see here, we have retail displayed. Of course, those of you who've seen previous episodes have seen this reception area, but you see how nicely it's displayed here. We not only have products, but we also have information about different things like clear skin and acne tips and the ABCDs of melanoma. When my patients come in, they also see retail here on the left. And one of our other episodes that you might have seen was about credentialing and how you credential yourself before they even meet you. Of course, starting even from the phones and then when they come in the door. So you can see here when our patients walk in from the elevator, the first thing they see is a video with myself and my colleagues doing different demonstrations and stuff. So again, the credentialing begins right away. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. And now as we come around, you'll see here, again, more to that credentialing that we talked about. We have a video here playing. Normally, of course, it has sound to it. But this is, TV episodes I've done, appearances, things where I'm doing the procedure or my PAs are doing the procedure. So patients, who are waiting in the reception area can actually see the procedures or snippets of them before they even do it. So again, that's really important in getting patients excited about the treatments that you're going to offer and talk about. So as we come around here, we have our very, very cool skincare bar and where patients can, try different products. Again, this is a way to start integrating that retail that we talked about in a previous episode. And they can actually, test it and try it. Another thing that we have here, which I think is very nice in terms of credentialing, and trying products and stuff is our skin scope, which we talked about in a previous episode. And that really shows them their skin and they can kind of touch and feel and see, that and the front desk helps them in terms of seeing their skin under that scope. So again, before they've even stepped in the room, they're experiencing all these things, before they even meet you, which is really important. 2 of our most popular episodes, which I hope you enjoyed, one was about, toxin and the reason that I charge not by units, but by areas. This was our most popular episode of the 4 that we've done so far. If you want to check it out, you haven't seen it yet, please do. Go to our website, click on Hustle and Glow, and just enter your email and you get free access to all of the episodes that we've done. And of course, you can do the same in the future. So really take advantage of that. And our 4th episode that I hope you saw was really about how I charge for, fillers. I charge for results, not by syringes. And that really caught a lot of you guys who've seen it. They, enjoyed that and came back to me later with DMs and emails about getting more information about how to integrate that into their practice. So now let's talk about what we're going to do tonight. So tonight is episode 5, like I said, and tonight we're going to talk about something that's really true to my heart, which is how to launch a new treatment successfully. And basically, this is my tried and tested guide on how to make a new treatment popular and profitable even before you actually start doing it on patients. So I hope you're going to really enjoy this one because, we're going to be doing a demonstration on the Greenwich Secret, which is actually one of our most successful launches so far. So I'm very excited to do that. But first, we're going to go into our presentation. I hope you enjoy it, and we'll be back soon. So let's get started. And we're going to talk today about how to launch a new treatment successfully, my tried and tested guide to making each new treatment popular and profitable. These are just some of my disclosures. And I'm bi-coastal, born on the East Coast, went to the West Coast, and now back. So as a physician and proud entrepreneur, I started Hustle and Glow to educate those in the beauty business on how to attract, maintain, and grow a loyal clientele. Each topic that I hope you've enjoyed is curated by me for you with passion and profitability in mind. And this is my amazing crew here. So let's think about, first of all, the reasons to bring on a new treatment, right? Because we don't necessarily have to. In fact, we're going to talk later about kind of trying to avoid bringing on new treatments that might not work for your office just because they're, in fashion or trending on social media. So let's talk about the real reasons that you might want to think about bringing on a new treatment or procedure or device. Number one, you want to enhance your patient's results, right? They're coming to you for optimal results. And if you find something that will make those results even better, that's definitely something to think about. That might come from your patients asking questions about things they've heard about, or it just might come from conferences and discussions with your colleagues. But when you hear that something really works and that people are seeing better results, it's definitely something to think about. And of course, that leads to higher patient satisfaction, which can then trend into increase profitability, right? Because this is a business, we want to increase profitability. And when you bring on new treatments, this diversifies what you're able to offer patients. And patients can now maybe have been doing one procedure such as Botox, may now be doing two when you bring on something that really works for them in another way. So it's something where it's not going to cannibalize what you already have, but add to it. Safety, of course, there's treatments and devices out there that are getting better every day in terms of the safety they provide for the patients, giving you a little bit of peace of mind at night. So that's definitely something to look out for in terms of if you see a device or a procedure that tends to give a little bit more of a safety profile that you're looking for. Convenience, of course, if there's treatments and procedures, one that we'll talk about later, for instance, that I'm going to do a demonstration on is the Greenwich Secret, for instance, which is, microneedling with radio frequency. And this, really is a safe, very convenient and effective treatment. And the convenience is the fact that it's quick, it's easy, and patients really have almost no downtime. So that's something that, you have to think about. Timing and space. Do you have the space to bring on a new device? Or is it a treatment that's going to be, something that you can use without having to increase your square footage in your office or have a lot of space? So that's something, you can get a lot of bang for your buck, sometimes even just out of an instrument like a microneedling pen. So, and that doesn't take up any space at all, but can bring a lot of patients into your office and increase your profitability. So something to think about. Make sure that it's aligned with your mission, right? So I always talk about my mission in giving patients optimal results, of course, and making them feel their best. So I want to make sure this is a treatment that, I believe in, that will definitely help the patients and is aligned with my mission in terms of what I want to do with them. And like I spoke before, you always want to be cautious about what you bring on. I vet machines and devices and even new treatments that my estheticians do over and over again with both the reps and my colleagues, and having interviews with some other people in the field about what they think about these new treatments, because I certainly don't want to bring on something that, just because it's trending. Patients ask me all the time, what about this? What about this? I heard about this. And, I like to have be educated on what they're talking about and have the pros and cons to explain to them if they ask about it. So again, this is not something you do on a whim. It's something that you really take time to work out. So true or false? You should start marketing for the new treatment the very first day the product or machine arrives in your office. Well, of course, the answer is false.
you want to start marketing for the new treatment before it arrives in your office. And how does this start? It starts really even just sometimes I start even before I actually bring on the new treatment, talking to patients about what they think about a procedure that, I'm looking at, and, had they heard of it? Would they be interested in it? I like to do this, in person in patient appointments. I like to talk to my staff about what they think about this procedure. And have they heard about it? And, what's kind of the word on the street, as they say. And also in social media, we do a good job of asking our patients, even on social media, little questions on stories like, what treatment or procedure do we not have that you'd be interested in? Or, what results are you looking for that perhaps, you're interested in finding out more about in terms of what could help those get those increased results. So again, we always, start the marketing way ahead of time, even before I've actually gone ahead and purchased the device or, invested in the new treatment. And then, of course, once I've done that, even before we brought it on, education is number one. So I educate my staff thoroughly on this new treatment before we officially bring it on to the patients, because I want to make sure they know all about it. So they're able to share that with patients prior to officially bringing it on. Because of course your staff is your, first line on the phones and in the rooms, and they have to really know about the new treatment. They have to have tried it. That's another thing. So, I always make sure when I bring on a new treatment that I have the staff try it out first, and that we, do it on all the staff so they know what it feels like. I make sure, I cross all different, skin types and such, and age groups with my staff. So again, we know how the treatment works, in those various groups. So, these are the types of things that we do before we bring treatments on. And I really encourage you to start that marketing ahead of time, because it's vital that once you bring on a new treatment, that everybody on your staff is confident about it, and that you can really promote it to your patients in that way. So again, before launching your treatment, on the right here, we have a little cartoon of some of the questions that we ask on social media on stories about, what treatments patients are interested in, or what results they're looking for that they, might want to ask questions about getting a new treatment that they've heard about. So again, this is how we sort of start the conversation, surveys and such on Instagram, and also on our blogs. Of course, then you develop actual marketing materials that are targeted to this new treatment. We talk about training the staff, treating them, and using teasers to generate excitement. So, not only on social media, but we might do something in the office where, we'll give away, one of these new treatments to get excitement going with our patients. And of course, physical things that still work, such as events, buttons for the staff to have on, and t-shirts. Again, that gets people excited, and also asking questions about the new treatment, when they see the staff in these buttons and such. So in terms of the practice marketing materials, I really encourage you to take the time, and I know it's an added expense, but to make sure that everything is up to date in terms of your marketing materials, such as your brochures and your website, before you actually officially launch this new treatment. The last thing you want is to make it, build excitement about a new treatment or procedure. And then when the patients go to your website or your materials to read more about it or to get more information, it's not yet there. You definitely don't want that. In our early days, sometimes we were just, trying to get everything together so quickly. And, patients would say, oh, I thought you had this new laser that you were talking about in the appointment, but I didn't see it on your website. And then you're like, oh, so make sure that this is all updated before you actually launch. Get social, of course, your platforms really use this to get the word out. And most importantly, they want to see photos, right? So your before and afters are your best marketing materials, always will be. So make sure you have those ahead of time. So that's why it's so important when you're vetting a new machine, even before you actually purchase it, that when you're doing treatments on your staff and such, and the reps will be happy to allow you to do that, that you're getting those photos, really good quality photos, so that you can have those already and set to go for patients to look at prior to even actually officially launching the new procedure or treatment. Because again, they're going to want to see before and afters, not from the company, but from you. So make sure that you have those together before you actually launch it. And videos too. One of the things that we do that I'm very proud of is that we show actual videos of me treating patients with our various devices that patients can look at on our website, and they can look at it on our YouTube channel, and of course on our Instagram and Facebook and other social media platforms. Because videos are where it's at. So make sure that patients see you actually doing the treatment, so they can see what they are what they should expect in terms of that treatment. Making an introduction offer, like I talked about, it helps to kind of get people excited about it. Oh, you can ask questions, and the person who, gets it right or such gets a free treatment. Again, that gets excitement going, and also gets people, asking questions about the procedure. And you can also, of course, give a discount or some sort of introduction offer for patients to try it out, and then, get into it and talk to it with their friends and such. So identify your cross referrals and influencers. We take a lot of time curating some of the influencers that have helped us on social media. So of course, these are people that you're going to want to have try the treatment initially and talk about it on your different platforms, and other doctors or colleagues in the community that may help to give you cross referrals in terms of this new device. So again, wanting to do that ahead of time, or when you're starting to launch the new treatment. And just like your website, like we talked about, and your brochures, you want to make sure that all your in-office marketing is up to date with this new treatment also. So, as I've talked about in previous Hustle and Glow episodes, we have scrolling videos in our exam rooms with all our before and afters and our specials. So of course, you're going to want to highlight that on your video screens so patients can see that both in the exam rooms and the reception. Make sure all your placards are up to date. And when you're having events, make sure that this is something that you're highlighting in terms of having this new treatment. Now, in part of the education of the staff, they really need to know who the ideal patient is for this new treatment. Because again, not all treatments are appropriate for every patient. And, we want to make sure that our patients are happy with their results, and that we give them, manage their expectations about what this new treatment can help them with, or whether this is not appropriate for them, or we think that, there's better treatments that will help, what they're looking for in order to get the results that they want. So again, this starts with educating your staff, educating yourself, and making sure that that this is the ideal patient to target for this new treatment. Grand rounds is something I've spoken about to you guys before. It's really an essential part of the education of my staff, and actually, our patients in the community, because we put these grand rounds and various things that we find out during these grand rounds on our different platforms. So this shows that, we're not only speaking to our staff about these new treatments, but we're actually physically showing them and having them be involved in the actual treating of models and other patients and themselves. So again, it's very important that your staff is hands-on with all your treatments. That, because remember, as I've spoken about, the front staff often they're busy on the phones, they're busy, so they don't often, know about what's going on in the back in terms of these treatments. So it really is important that they get a hands-on look, especially when you're launching a new treatment that they need to speak about on the phones. Trust your reps. I hope you have some good ones. We do, luckily, and because of course, they want this new treatment that they're selling to be successful as much as you do. So they'll go out of their way to do more trainings with new staff, or repeat trainings with staff, or updated trainings, sponsoring events and such. So, number one, don't be afraid to ask. Because the reps are there for you, and they're there to make this a successful launch in your practice. So definitely take advantage of that and use them for that. And making sure that one of the things, we have on our new patient paperwork, we have sort of a checklist of cosmetic interest. Of course, don't forget to add this new treatment. It may be something that patients haven't heard of yet, but even having it there, on the cosmetic interest questionnaire can get them asking questions. So for instance, the Greenwich Secret that we're going to talk about, the patients will see it and they'll say, in the room, what is the Greenwich Secret? I want to know all about it. So again, it's just a way to get them asking questions. And of course, one way to help get a new treatment going successfully is to offer your staff an incentive, right? So, if they quote unquote sell this treatment to a certain number of patients in a certain amount of time, especially during the launch period, they might have some incentive like getting a free treatment themselves or something else. So again, this, just another way to get everybody engaged and excited and making this a great successful launch. So these are just some real before and afters from the Greenwich Secret, which, again, we're going to be demonstrating in a few minutes, one of our most successful launches that we've had. And we actually, believe it or not, launched it during COVID, if you can believe it or not. I mean, this was something where, we were closed for 3 months. I mean, you would think of course, revenue was not coming in. But I, got an offer. I've always been looking at, sort of the microneedling with radio frequency devices and been kind of vetting them over the couple years prior to COVID. But then one of the companies came to me and actually, offered me a deal I couldn't refuse, even though at the time it seemed like putting out, that money for something, during COVID and while we were closed was maybe, not what most would do, but it was an excellent offer. And I'll tell you, it really paid off. I mean, we kind of hit the ground running when we, before we even reopened, in terms of getting, the word out on our social media that we were going to have this new device once we reopened on our social media and our blogs. And so patients were already asking about it when we opened our doors again. So it really was one of the best launches we've ever had in our practice. So again, just a good example of getting the interest going early, even when you're closed. So these are some real before and afters that we already had ready for patients to see. So, you see that it treats scars, improves the look of scars on surgical scars, acne scars, of course, can improve laxity. And we have patients of all different, skin types, ethnicities, and of different age groups presented on these photos. So again, patients always want to see people that look like them. So I like to have that diversity in our real before and afters. So the Greenwich Secret, I'll tell you, it is a secret, but I'm going to tell you what it is. So it's fractional radio frequency energy delivered through a microneedling system, which stimulates and remodels collagen to address the common signs of aging. So I want to talk about this because, I had other, lasers such as Fraxel and, vascular for years, which have been, tried and true for us. But we really needed a device that was going to help with things like pore size and fine lines without much downtime and with great results. Because there was always that patient where, the lasers were great, in terms of pigment and such, but they weren't necessarily getting them the results in terms of the fine lines, wrinkles, and pore size. And so I was always looking for something that could really fit in there. And I'll tell you, this device has been a game changer for us in terms of fitting in that. And it really has not at all cannibalized the other things we do. It's simply been an add-on. So when you talk about profitability, I mean, this has been a no-brainer. So we have patients now who are still doing, their lasers, their Fraxels, their injectables, and now have added on the Greenwich Secret because it serves a different function and it works. So again, really, this has been a game changer for us in terms of, adding on to our practice and profitability. I think in fact, we covered the cost of the device within a few months. So safety, convenient results. Again, this is one where, I can go to bed and sleep soundly because I know patients are not only going to be happy, but there's the safety profile is excellent. And it's particularly effective for certain skin issues that the other devices, like I was saying, just really haven't covered for us. So again, this was adding to our practice. So things like stretch marks didn't really have anything that worked as well for stretch marks as this. Festoons, those God, festoons, really hadn't had anything that worked well, was sending patients, to other specialties. And this has really been a game changer for us in improving festoons with patients who've tried everything else. Like festoons, of course, under eye, crepey skin on the hands, and, that peau d'orange chin in conjunction with neurotoxin. Combining these has really given an enhanced effect versus neurotoxin alone. Upper eyelid crepey skin. So we're able to, because it's not a laser, although we can use, metal shields for laser treatments, we can use it really on the brow bone to get excellent results with some of that crepey skin. Of course, I tell patients, expectation wise, this is not blepharoplasty, but a lot of patients who just have that little crepiness, but not necessarily a lot of excess skin, have gotten nice results with this in a safe manner over a series of treatments. And it can even give a little bit of a millimeter upper brow lift if I'm treating in the same manner. So I'm going to be very excited to show you the actual Greenwich Secret in a few minutes.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the presentation and learned a little bit about how you can launch new treatments most successfully. So now we're going to do the best part, I think, which is the live demonstration, and we're going to do it on the Greenwich Secret. So Greenwich Secret, like I said, this is a machine that I launched during COVID, and it really has been our most successful launch yet. So that says a lot for a lot of things about the device. So the device is here. You can probably kind of see it over here. It's very small, moves around, very mobile. And here is Caitlin, my physician assistant. I'm sure you've seen her on previous episodes. And today we're going to treat Emily. How are you doing, Emily? Good. So what is the Greenwich Secret? So the Greenwich Secret is using radio frequency energy, fractionized radio frequency energy, in a microneedling system, which helps, of course, to remodel and build collagen to address various aging concerns. One thing great about it is that the microneedling system, it comes in different lengths and also different tips we'll talk about. But what does that allow? It allows us to treat, the thinner skin, like for instance, the forehead or under the eyes, and on the longer lengths, because we can all titrate that. We can use it for thicker skin like the cheeks. And we can also use the different lengths to address deeper issues such as acne scars. And so it's very versatile, and it's something that we can use all over the body. So we have face, neck, chest, body areas for crepiness, wrinkling, and it really can treat a lot of things. And what's great about the treatment also is that it can treat all skin types. So this is something, which it's rare to find in our devices, as you guys know, especially with lasers and such, where, some are appropriate, some are safe, and some are not. We really can honestly tell our patients that the Greenwich Secret is safe for all skin types and is very effective for all concerns. And particularly, I like it in this office. We use it for certain issues that, to be honest with you, the lasers and other devices, even some of the injectables that we do, don't really give optimal results for, and the Greenwich Secret has been a game changer. So if we go through some of those specific areas that I love it for, so eyelid crepiness, no, Emily doesn't have these things, but we're gonna go through it. Eyelid crepiness, we can use it on the upper and lower eyelid because it's not a laser. We don't have to worry about eye protection there. Another great place to use it, and I know Caitlin loves doing this in her practice, is using it on the brow bone. And it really gives a nice little millimeter brow lift, which is really nice. And then of course, down, a lot of us unfortunately suffer from festoons, those pesky kind of pocket areas there underneath the eyes. And it really is amazing for bringing down festoons. I've had patients who've tried everything, including surgery for festoons, and they've just come back, and we've done a series of 6 Greenwich Secrets, and they've gotten amazing results. So again, I love it for that area. I also love it for, sort of that peau d'orange chin, so used in conjunction with neurotoxin, it's great for that. And of course, any areas where you can get, the crepiness of the skin, so the neck and the décolleté, and I love to use it in combination with microtox. So again, can be combined with treatments. And the best thing about it is that there's literally almost no downtime. And again, Very rarely can we say that about treatments, especially, devices. So this is something where patients are deemed to use for a series of treatments, usually about 3 to 6 in a row. It can be done as often as every 2 to 3 weeks, which is, also great. They can kind of get through their series very quickly. And in terms of the lack of downtime, they literally the next day, it will look like pretty much nothing happened. I mean, they might be pink, leaving after the treatment, but really by the next day, they're just sandpaper for a few days and that's it. But yet they get the efficacy of the treatment. So this has actually been one of the treatments that's had the highest patient satisfaction in this office, which is amazing, especially, for a new treatment. And speaking of new treatments, before we get to it, we're always talking about, we're talking about launching new treatments or new devices. But one thing I want you to think about when you're thinking about these things we've talked about, how to make a treatment launch successful, is relaunching old treatments, right? So maybe an old treatment that you do that you could have done better on, start marketing it again. So do a relaunch. So think about that, when you're looking at the portfolio of procedures that you do. So in terms of prepping for the Greenwich Secret, and Emily already did this, you're gonna wanna numb for about an hour to an hour and a half, depending. For most of our patients, we have them purchase our numbing cream, which is very strong, and we can have them do that previous to getting here, and they love that saving time value. So definitely, something to think about. And then the patient, of course, is cleaned and disinfected, and then we begin the procedure. The procedure is very quick, which is another thing that's very nice. Because we have 2 tips, one is a 25 milliliter, in other words, a 64, we can treat these face and body areas very quickly. So I would say probably, depending upon what you're treating, you're looking at 15 to 30 minutes max, which is great also. So they're not here for a long time. And again, they leave with a little pinkness and that's about it. What we like to do, of course, is always up the ante in terms of results. So we all often pair this with PRP. So we'll have the patient come in, we'll draw the blood, and we'll have that going while we're doing the treatment, and then we put the PRP on there for extra efficacy when those microchannels are still open. And as far as post-procedure goes, we tell patients, really no touch. So this is a procedure that we actually don't put topicals on afterwards. We don't put sunscreen on. We just kind of let them go, and we tell them to keep their face clean of these topicals for at least 6 hours, and preferably until the next morning. And of course, if they're using PRP on top of it, we have them keep that on their face until the next morning too, and then they can wash it and go through their regimen. And then again, their next treatment would be set for about 3 weeks from then. So I guess it's time to begin the actual treatment. So let me get my gloves. And today we're going to be doing face only on Emily. Emily's had this treatment before. Very important is just to, of course, even if this is a series of treatment, just sort of re-explain what to expect with patients very briefly. But again, this is pretty easy and patients get it very well. And one thing that we're gonna see is the customizability of the treatment. So we talked about using the different lengths of the microneedlings during the treatment, and we'll be able to hopefully see the screen. One of the things here is, of course, this is very ergonomic, which is nice, makes it easy. This is very light, even though may not be able to notice that, but it's actually very light and easy to use. So I use it sort of like a pencil. And you'll see here, I'm just gonna give an example of the little microneedles coming out. I don't know if you got a close view of that, but it's kind of cool. I actually show patients before the procedure so they can see what's going on. So basically letting them know that this energy is going through these little microneedling system, and then they sort of really get and understand what's going on. So we're gonna begin. So I'm using the 64 larger tip. You can use the larger tip on the face. It's not like an either or situation. So we often will use the larger tip. It's a faster treatment, of course, because it's the larger areas involved. But when we're just doing, small areas such as, that brow lift I talked about, or the, crepey skin of the eyelids, we tend to use that 25 millimeter. So we're gonna begin. All right, Emily. So you're feeling good and numb? Mm-hmm. All right. So we're gonna start with the forehead. So you see here just how quick it is as we go along. And we overlap, about 50%. But again, you're seeing here just how fast of a treatment this is. And I'm actually, able, of course, to look on the screen, in front of me in terms of the energy being delivered and the number of passes. So for each area of the face, we most often do 2 passes. And now if we're talking about treating deeper issues such as acne scars or thicker skin, we can go up to even 3 to 4 passes. But for most areas, we do tend to use 2 passes. Now on the body, I tend to use, just because that skin is thicker, I do tend to use 3 passes for everything on the body. And Emily, turn your head towards me. And you can see just that little bit of pinkness on her face. This will pretty much almost be gone by the time we finish the treatment. So again, such minimal downtime. And around here, I'll tell you, and I'm sure in your practices too, everybody wants efficacy, but they don't want any downtime. So to have a treatment that delivers on that is just, again, another reason why we've been so successful with this launch. Excellent. So I'm actually going to have Caitlin finish up with the second pass on the forehead and continue with the rest of the face. So that'll allow me to answer some questions that have come in from you guys. I'd say the number one thing that we do is initially, even before, we talked about it on the presentation, having before and afters, right? And we'll talk about that, but from our, real patients, and usually those are our staff members or family. We also always will show a video on our website and on our blog so that patients can actually see it in action and they can, get information about them, allaying their fears in terms of, what happens and how it's done. A lot of times, as that's why videos are so popular and people, love to see them. They just want to know how it's done, what it looks like, because, as physicians, we take for granted the fact that patients would know. They don't know what microneedling with radiofrequency means. So again, to see it be, look like a really nice, easy, pretty machine, that's, step 1 and 2 in terms of allaying their fears. We treat all the staff members, their family, everyone prior to actually launching it to our patients. And, that's because we want those true before and afters for patients to see before, they book. Because, again, it's fine if you have something where, we don't have time to get that quite yet, and you're building that portfolio. It's fine to use the before and afters from the company, but I'll tell you, the effect of real before and afters is just, it's just exponential, for patients. So again, even if it's just a few, do your absolute best to have those, presented and available before you actually launch the treatment. We take for granted the fact that, we think that everybody knows about these treatments, but they don't. I have patients who've been here for years and don't know about procedures that we've had for a long time, much less new procedures. So again, you can never overmarket, you can never overeducate. I'd rather have a overmarketed, overeducated patient any day. This depends upon a lot of marketing research because everybody's different. Of course, you're going to be talking to your reps about, some general ideas in the area. And then one thing that I, have found very, very important in really getting a good price going, or package prices included, is doing an intro price. Like we talked about, doing an intro price for a new treatment. It not only brings patients in the door, but it helps us to think, okay, are we right where we are in terms of the pricing and everything else? When those patients are coming in. So that's a good way to kind of get an idea, because you can always change. You don't have to stick to the price that you initially, came up with. So definitely doing that intro price is helpful. I think the number one thing is, like I said, having them do the treatment, them do that before we launch is really important so they can speak to it and speak how, it feels and the results that they've seen so far. And so a staff incentive is actually to, if they reach this quota or whatever you are, that to give them more of the treatment. Because again, this is a treatment that requires a series to get optimal results. So let's say they've only had one for that first before and after picture, making the incentive for them to be able to finish the series. Of course, we also do things as simple as gift cards or, parties that the reps help us to fund and put together. So again, it doesn't have to be something expensive or, an actual, kind of money gift, but because the staff really enjoy all different types of incentives. Please, if you have further questions, DM us. By now our Instagram. which is Nichols_dermatology and Skin Lab Nichols MD. So definitely please DM us on those. Go to our website. Like I said, if this is your first episode of Hustle and Glow or your second or your third, go to our website. You can hit the Hustle and Glow button and you can just put your email in and you get free access to all the episodes we've done so far. And look forward to in winter or the beginning of the year, next year, we will have another set of Hustle and Glows. So I hope you guys enjoy the upcoming holiday season, and we will be back in January so that we have, fresh ideas for you to learn about, and then please contribute any that you think that I should cover. And that's another thing, it's always helpful to have your ideas because I'm open to anything that you guys are interested in. And last but not least, we are always hiring. So if there's any of you that are looking for positions or know people who are, please, we're hiring in all fields. Email us at info@kimnicholsmd.com, or of course you can direct message us. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night, and we will see you in January.